The following program is a West Tennessee PBS special presentation made possible through the generous financial support of viewers like you. Please visit westtnpbs.org and make a donation today so that we can continue to make local programs like this possible. Thank you.
He's a recording artist, a radio station owner, minister, and state lawmaker. Hello, I'm Tom Britt. On this episode of Tennessee is Talking, we're sitting down with Representative Johnny Shaw. As the Tennessee legislature is busy in Nashville, we'll find out what are the hot issues and more with Johnny Shaw. So let's let the conversation begin.
That's so cool.
And then that's when I said that.
The problem with that idea is...
Wow, that was amazing.
Then I came up with a solution.
What was that about?
Here's what I think about it.
Now we're talking.
West Tennessee PBS presents Tennessee is Talking. Let the conversation begin.
Thanks for joining the discussion. I'm Tom Britt. Today we're honored to be speaking with State Representative Johnny Shaw. He's also a businessman, a radio station owner, a record recording person, if we still do records and that sort of thing. So let's get started and see how it feels to talk with State Representative Johnny Shaw about what's going on in the state legislature and some other topics too. Welcome, Johnny. It's good to see you again.
Thank you, Tom. Thank you for having me today.
I know it's a busy time for you. I mean, the legislative session gets underway and then it's just bam, 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 lots of bills, lots of things to look at. Tell us what's been going on this year and where we are in the session.
Well, we are right in the midst of the 113th last half. The hottest topics right now, of course, is the voucher, ESAs. That's the big issue. From Mountain City to the Mississippi River, all of the public school directors are against this program that the governor is wanting to launch to give these scholarships to kids that they might choose where they'd like to go to school, preferably private schools. That is the biggest topic because what I'm hearing is that this program could very well, to some degree, bankrupt the public school system. Now, the way they're explaining it is because the governor has this extra money that he wants to put in the program, it's not going to interfere with the budgets that the public school systems are working on right now. But when a student leave and that $7,075 go with them, if they come back that same year, they don't get it back. However, if the next year they don't come back, then the budget is adjusted to however many students the public school system have. So it's that, but that's the big hot topic right now in the legislature, along with the other few things like...
let me ask you about that education thing. I know that...
Sure.
Can the state afford that? I've heard some wild numbers thrown around how much it's going to cost, and can we afford that? Are we borrowing money here to put over here? I don't know.
If all of the students we think that will apply, I don't think we can. I think we're wading out into
unknown waters.
Unknown waters is what I think, and I think it will cost us more than we can afford if that happens. Now, the governor is wanting to do a test run. It's a pilot program, but if it works as well as he says it's going to work, and I'm not for sure where he got his numbers from. I know the new commissioner comes from Texas. She is the voucher queen of all of this stuff, and she's the one I think who's driving this train, but I don't think we can afford it.
And I think I've heard that state financial officials are saying, where's this going to come from? How are we going to balance with maybe a slight downturn in the state sales tax, which is what we fund everything with in the state, right?
Definitely, and then of course that's some legislation that's coming through to even take taxes off food, period,
Which will lower the income,
which will lower the income. So I think if we do what he wants us to do, we're going to have to find more money rather than cutting taxes.
Right.
That's what I think.
All right, some of the other topics that's been
well, the other topics I think is, Tennessee State is in the news right now.
Right.
The dissolving of the board, appointing new members to the board.
And I think the president has resigned.
President has resigned.
Institution,
yeah, that's in the news. Plus a few other things that people are concerned about. But I don't want to paint the picture to say that government's not good.
Oh, I understand. But there's always those issues, right?
Things that we have to deal with. Sure.
Right. Yeah, and I think, too, in reading about Tennessee State, there was an audit that showed maybe the state didn't quite give as much money as it was required to the university.
That is correct.
And a lot of kids from around West Tennessee go to Tennessee
Definitely.
State.
Yeah, I mean, you know, all this area, Tennessee State, yeah, sure.
Yeah, big area. What else is going on? Anything else coming on? I know we're always usually talking about guns and that sort of thing.
Well, you know, guns is not the topic. We've got some members who are constantly bringing up that topic, but the legislature as a whole, for the most part, are the leaders of the legislature on the House side is pretty well ignoring that topic. A little bit about gun safety, little bit, not much, but in terms of what we can do to manage guns, keep them out the streets, because, you know, the governor passed a few years back the open carry law, and I think that added to people being able to take guns from people and use them for the wrong reason. And so not a whole lot about guns.
Yeah, and I think there was a bill introduced, and it may go nowhere or never get out of committee, and that's where bills go, and when they don't come up, right,
sure.
They stay in committee. That perhaps there should be some safety training for school kids and everybody statewide, and the TWRA and some other agencies would help. Is that going anywhere? Have you heard anything about that?
Well, it passed the House because, you know, that's one of our local legislators, Representative Todd, had that bill. It passed the House for gun safety. You know, I understand that it would be taught in the schools, but it would be taught by someone who's qualified to teach gun safety and to say to a child, if you see a gun, here's what you should do rather than picking it up. Pretty good piece of legislation, and to my knowledge, I know it passed the House. I'm not for sure on the Senate side, and I'm not even for sure the governor will sign it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course, we're telecasting here today, or broadcasting if you want to say that.
Sure.
You own radio stations in Bolivar. You're a minister of the St. John Baptist Church in Stanton, which is kind of busy over there, I know, around that area.
Definitely.
And have been in the state legislature since 2000. Which role is your favorite, and perhaps expound a little bit and tell us why?
Well, I would have to say the ministry is the favorite, but it really all chimes and blends together. What I do every day, I think of service. In the legislature, I look at it as service. When I'm on the air, I think about it as serving people. When I'm in the pulpit on Sunday, I think about service. So my attitude in all the three hats that I wear is about service. So it's a blend. It's a mixture.
It's a blend of everything. And as we said, you're a man who wears many hats.
Yeah.
So what about Stanton, Blue Oval, the growth, and everything? I mean,
wow, that's a wow, man. Let me tell you.
Which we now know that they've backed up on total electric and maybe to a hybrid or even full gasoline engines there, right?
They have. And, you know, I go way back with that project because that particular project started about 20 years ago, not necessarily Blue Oval itself, but purchasing the land. And, of course, being one of the legislators who were willing to vote on purchasing that land, we were highly criticized by using taxpayers' dollars to purchase land. But the vision was something big is coming to Tennessee one day, and we won't have the room for them when they come. But for years,
It sat there, didn't it?
Yeah, for years, I mean, we came home with egg on our face, man, you know. Nothing's happening in the mega site.
Right.
Finally, they changed it to the Memphis mega site. That didn't work. One of the candidates running for governor back a while back wanted to break it up in small parcels. That didn't work, which I'm glad it didn't. And finally,
because that would affect every city or town that has an industrial park had they done that, wouldn't it?
Yes, definitely. And then, of course, Governor Lee comes along, and finally one day Ford knocks on the door and says, we'd like to come to Tennessee, and we'd like to bring a battery plant with us. And one of the things I want to stress is there are two different industries coming. It's called Blue Oval, but Blue Oval, SK makes the battery, and Ford's going to make the vehicles. And so now we're excited, so excited, we don't really know what to do.
and people have trouble just getting through down there, right? Now, let me ask you this. Why did you get into politics? Was it the service that you mentioned earlier?
Well, actually, I was local county commissioner
for
a couple of terms, 2.5 terms to be exact. one day I'm sitting in my office at the radio station, because I've been in radio before all of this happened, and I get a call from two ladies, Mrs. Minnie Bowmer from Covington and Mrs. Jean Carney from Haywood County. These two ladies are community activists, and they had done some research to find that there was a lack of representation in rural West Tennessee. And so they stepped out on the limb and applied for a new district with the federal government, and the federal government granted them that opportunity. And so one day I'm sitting in my office at the radio station, and I get a call from Mrs. Bowmer. She said, how would you like to become a state legislator? And I said, a state what? State legislator. I don't know anything about what you're talking. She said, I know you don't, but we'll help you. You know, if you, we actually.
And they probably had your qualifying petition out then, right?
They honestly, they did. But they had done research through Memphis State University, and they were researching all of the community leaders and whose names were popping up first and getting involved in community efforts. And my name kept popping up. Mm-hmm. In fact, I think my name popped up more than anybody else's. And so they thought I would be a good pick, and they asked me if I would run and promised to raise the money for my campaign. And I will tell you that did not happen. The promise was, we'll do that, and I got $275 from them.
Yeah, which we know
and
doesn't.
It cost $60,000 to run that race.
For those viewing,
yeah,
how far is your district? What is it?
My district
not
is
only a portion of Madison County, but
yes,
it swings all around.
It is. Bolivar, Hardeman County is the main district. I live in Bolivar, and I represent all of Hardeman County with the exception of 2,200 students on the Mississippi line that connects Ron Gant and his district from Fayette County to McNair County. So basically, I've got all of Hardeman. I got 12,000 constituents in Haywood, which is the Blue Oval area. I represent uptown Brownsville, back through Blue Oval, back into Hardeman County. And then in Madison, I've got the area, Denmark, rural area, and East Jackson. So that makes up my 70,000 constituents that I have to represent.
Which is a pretty big district.
Pretty good sized district, yes,
yeah.
It is.
A lot of geographical area.
Geographically, it is, yes.
Yeah, to cover and that sort of thing.
Sure.
Well, as one of the few, or perhaps maybe now only one of the black-owned broadcasters in the state of Tennessee, what's your take on the future of broadcasting?
I think broadcasting will always be here. I think radio is the mother or the daddy of broadcasting. I think you will even see TV fail before radio fail. Here's what locally, 95% of any local radio station will have, 95% of that community will listen to that local radio station, because local radio do things that no other broadcasters do. We do the field report, which is the biggest item every morning. And I mean, we have people to call in, you've been in radio, and they'll ask, you mean nobody passed away? Yeah.
Yeah, they want those obituaries.
They want those obituaries. So I think because we are so local, I think we'll always be there. Now, having said that, the local business has gone away. All the mom and pops are gone. So I think what we have to do is to look out in a broader area and see how we can partner with other stations and do business and get that regional and national business. But I do think the future of radio is bright. I do, yeah.
Well, you mentioned local businesses. Your wife, Opal,
yeah,
is a business person.
Yes.
Tell me about that and how she ended up getting into business and doing what she does.
Well, she was in the restaurant business. She's out now because of the pocket, okay?
Yeah.
I was the guy doing all the financing, and she run the business. But Opal started Opal's Restaurant in Bolivar some years back, which was a real big hit.
Yeah.
The problem was she couldn't get a fair price for the food, and we had to supplement that. So we did have to close after some time, but home cooking,
yeah,
you know,
it was good.
Pretty well go in and
put my
say
foot
what
under a
you
table
want.
there or two, once or twice.
Yeah, sure. I think you visited there a couple of times. But Opal has been the brain behind our music ministry all the years. But she did start a business and did well with the help of Shaw's Broadcasting over those years. Did very well. Yeah.
And tell me about that music business you have. What does that encompass?
The music business started in a little community called Vildo, Tennessee. We were asked as high school students, because I had a reputation of singing with my sister growing up.
As a lot of folks do in churches
yes,
and things, right?
In churches. And Opal played music for churches growing up. So one Sunday we were at a function at the Johnson Chapel Church down at Vildo, and we were asked to sing a song together. And from that day, we became the Shaw Singers, which led us to 37 states in the United States. We went to Paris, France to sell out.
Oh, goodness.
7 concerts in Germany.
That's a long trip.
Yeah. And she did most of the writing of those songs. She has about 37 compositions. And we did an album called Special Prayer. And I think that was the big one. It was a song that everybody could relate to, and the way she sang it, the lyrics of it, here I am, Lord, all alone, talking to you, those type of lyrics.
Yeah.
And that really went big for us. And that's how we got our start. In fact, that's how I got my start to do radio later. Yeah.
Yeah. So do you do other music rather than religious music, or is it
just religious?
Just religious music.
Yes. My mom would never let. I wanted to sing the blues, Tom. She would never let me sing. I said, "Mom, let me do one show on stage." She would never let me do it. I'm the B.B. King guy, the Bobby Bland, all that. I mean, I wanted
Classic
to sing
stuff,
those songs, man.
Yeah.
She would never let me do it. Yeah. So, and she's in heaven now, so I'm not going there.
You're not going to start.
No.
Not going to start now. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Well, I know that you told me one time that you want to stay in the legislature and continue to work, perhaps see the Blue Oval to fruition.
Yes.
Are you still leaning in that direction?
I am leaning. I'm looking to do one more term in the legislature, and I think the Blue Oval project will be finished up and running in mid-25, and that's my goal, is to stay until they are up and in production, which will be one more term, and then I plan to leave and go home and get on my John Deere.
not going to do a lot more radio then?
No.
Well, let your kids kind of do a lot more of it.
The
maybe?
kids, yeah, they're going to take.
Which they already do a lot of it, don't they?
They already do that. Now I will work a little bit. I'll stay in contact with radio and with my listeners, because I do have listeners that they don't have. And when they don't hear me, they get upset. So I'll keep them happy.
And you probably play a little music that they don't play
they
sometimes.
They probably don't play. Yeah.
But that's okay, because
that's
everybody knows what they like, and they like what they know, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Good music there.
Yeah.
Well, the district itself, back to that, talking about that, are there other things that you would like to see accomplished in the district, other than, of course, Blue Oval is a give me? Everybody knows. Everybody wants that to happen.
I would. I want to see more training for mental health starting, because what I'm beginning to see, even in the church, that the mental health piece is a critical piece. So I really want to see a lot of in-depth training for mental health starting. Secondly, I think that's going to solve a lot of the crime problems, because we do have a high rate of crime now. And I think that is the first step, with other good things like prayer and fasting and prayer, to help get that crime piece in order. But I want to see people trained to a point where they can start their own businesses and can be another Johnny Shaw. I mean, it's not hard. It's about dedication. I want people to understand, first of all, you need to know who you are. You got to know yourself before you can know how to operate a business, how to be a good family man, whatever. You need to know who you are. We spend a lifetime trying to get to know other people, but we don't know ourselves. But when you get to know yourself and your capabilities of what you can do, the first thing you realize, if I'm going to be a business person or a leader, I've got a whole lot of challenges in front of me. Am I up to those challenges? Can I face those challenges? Because most people say it's about finance or money, but it's not. Running a business is not just about having the resources of money. It's about attitude, it's about character, personality. There's so many pieces to it. And if you don't know yourself, you'll never be able to be a success at what you're about to do. And that's the kind of stuff I would like to see happen in this community.
Go back to the legislature for just a second. It seems like that politics and the legislative process has become so contentious.
It has, yes.
What do we need to do to help fix that? It seemed to me when I was growing up, there was bipartisanship, and it was okay to reach across the aisle and say,
Sure.
hey, I need your help. It's the best for the constituents or the voters. We need to get this done.
Yeah.
Your thoughts on that and where we are and what we need to do to perhaps get that back, if we can?
I think we could get it back only if we had training programs for people who wanted to get into politics. Because there again, politics is about service. It's not about me going to Nashville, lobbying for what I want, but it's about serving 70,000 people. And what I think we need more than anything, and I'm sure a lot of people might disagree with this, I think we need a training program for anybody that want to go to the state legislature. I think they need to understand, here are some of the things you need to understand if you want to be a state legislator. Because we got so many people now in the legislature, they're for selfish reasons, TV hogs, just want to be on the 6 o'clock news. It's all about what they want. It's all about how they think. It's all about, look, this is really a group effort. When I hear people campaign and say, I'm going to Nashville and here's what I'm going to do, I'm thinking you got to have 49 other legislators. You got to have 17 senators. And you got to have a governor's signature and all of the other hundreds of people to write your legislation and get it in order. So how are you going to do this by yourself? So I think what we need more than anything nowadays, if we're going to get back to bipartisanship, it's okay to be a Democrat. It's okay to be a Republican. Nothing wrong with the party. It's the people in the parties that's causing the problem. So if we could get some training and to say, when you go into the legislature, here's what you need to know, here's what you need to expect, here's how the process works. I think we'd have a much better legislature and bipartisanship would come back. And it just used to be kind of natural that people work together, but no more. Everybody got their own idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of the party platform or nothing.
Nothing,
right.
nothing,
which,
and
which
everybody
doesn't serve voters well.
Yeah, and everybody claims their party is better than everybody else's, but listen, a party is no more than a cardboard.
Well, I noticed too, and of course, I was in the news business for a long time, radio business, and I found in the end that people, they listen to respond, but not to hear what you're saying and understand, right?
That's right.
And so I think that's what you were saying. We need to train people to be able to listen and see the whole picture.
Definitely. My motto is a very simple one. Answer all your phone calls, return all of them, and don't lie to people and tell them you don't know when you don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the calls you get now, what do they deal with mostly? Everything, or is there one common theme?
Well, probably the biggest calls I get is mothers trying to get their sons out of trouble. I get more of those, a volume of those, but it varies. I mean, it's across the board. It's from harassments, it's from people wanting you to help them get jobs, or use your name for references. I mean, the list goes on and on. Or don't vote for that piece of legislation, vote for this one. And of course, we get hundreds of emails from other districts. Now, I focus on the ones from my district, but I'll get emails from East Tennessee, what not to vote for, what to vote for, those type things. So it's broad. It's very broad.
But I guess it just boils down to that if you're a state representative, that you need to do what's best for everybody as much as you can.
Because you are a state. I can't do it for my district if it's not good for the state, because I am a state legislator. And I try to be a statesman as much as I possibly
Yeah,
can.
I was going to say that. Heard this
Sure.
one time that we don't need more Republicans, we don't need more Democrats or independents.
Yeah.
We need more statesmen and
Statesmen.
stateswomen
Yes,
in those
definitely.
positions, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
definitely. Yeah.
Well, Representative, we've come to the end of our time today, but we would like to have you back on Tennessee is Talking, so thank you very much for stopping by. Remember, Tennessee is Talking is on Channel 11 every Thursday night at 8:30, and again on Sunday nights at 6:30. You can also watch on demand on the PBS app. All local Channel 11 programs are streaming for free. Be sure to keep the conversation going. Follow West Tennessee PBS on all social media. I'm Tom Britt, thanking you for joining us and supporting WLJT-TV Channel 11.
Tennessee is Talking is a presentation of West Tennessee PBS with the goal of bringing people together, sharing ideas, thoughts, and different perspectives, learning from each other and sharing a civil and respectful discussion. Tennessee is Talking, the show that brings West Tennessee together. Do you have a topic you'd like to see discussed on a future episode of Tennessee is Talking? Maybe you want to be a guest and have something to talk about. Send your ideas to tnistalking@westtnpbs.org. Include all your contact information and let the conversation continue.
This program you've been watching was made possible through the generous financial support of West Tennessee PBS viewers like you. Please visit westtnpbs.org and make a donation today so that we can continue to make local programs like this possible. Thank you.